Hi, this is going to be an instructional follow-along video for Tekki 1, which is one of the forms we use for brown belts testing for their first degree black belt. There's actually 3 forms in this series. We use the other 2 for the next 2 levels of black belt. It's a traditional karate form, or kata. So it's going to use some techniques that maybe we're not so used to seeing in our normal forms that you've learned so far up until your brown belt. We're using some down blocks, there's some two-handed movements, there's some hands pulling to our hip at different times. So this whole form is about learning how to generate power and building strength and intensity, not just specifically about learning individual self-defense techniques, but more about how to actually move and generate power with our body. So it's a whole body training technique, exercise rather, not just focusing on individual movements, okay? That being said, it is important that you come to class to practice the movements with partners so you can learn how to apply some of these things, because some of these things are going to be using grabbing and pulling and staying in really tight and close, and you miss that when you just practice by yourself and when you just go through the movements in the air. So this video will help you learn the moves and help you practice and get them down, but it's also very important that you come to class and train. Tekki is one of the oldest karate kata or forms that is on the record. It's been used in many different styles of karate and martial arts, in Korean martial arts and Taekwondo. Its origins are most likely from Chinese martial arts that made their way into Okinawa a long time ago, and that's how it got into karate in the first place. So there are many different interpretations of this form. This form goes by different names and different styles. This is the way that we use it, this is the way that I learned it and I was taught, and it's the one that we use for our black belt test. A couple interesting things about the form: it only moves left to right, which is pretty strange for a martial arts form. Anything that you've learned before, we're moving a little more dynamically. But some people think maybe it was designed to practice fighting with your back against a wall or being in close quarters. So that could be one reason to explain why the movement is kind of limited to just that side-to-side motion. Also, the whole form is in a horse stance. So if you remember what I said just a moment ago, this is about building power and intensity. So if you train this form properly and you're using a good horse stance, that is just extra work for your legs to be building strength and to help you develop more power, and your kicks to help you have better movement and footwork, to help you have better hip rotation, your punches, everything. So the name Tekki actually translates to iron horse. It's a good reminder to stay in your horse stance the whole time. I'm just going to back up here so we can see the feet. Although there's not much footwork, it's just a horse stance. We start in our ready position. At your black belt test, this is the second form you do. So you've already done one. This is the second thing you're going to do. So you'll Tekki 1, bow, and as you come out of your salute, your hands come up. Your left hand goes behind your right hand. So my right hand is closer to my face, my left hand is behind it, and my hands press down and forward. Okay, so I bow, press. I'm going to start to step. My left foot's going to cross in front of my right foot. I'm going to turn my head to look to my right. I'm about to kick with my right leg. So as I step, I'm going to be shifting my weight onto my left foot, and then I'm going to be lifting my knee and coming across with a crescent kick. You notice my arms are starting to come up as well. So as I'm stepping, my arms begin to draw up. My left hand stays on top. My arms are coming basically horizontal to the ground, parallel, stacked on top of each other. So I step, I look, and my arms come up. I crescent kick, I land in my horse stance. Okay, my head is going to stay facing this direction, but I'm going to look at the camera so you can hear me. So from here, I'm extending my right arm out. This could be a back fist or a strike with the forearm. And my left hand draws back, and now I'm going to do an elbow smash. I'm going to pull in an elbow strike. I bring my hands to my right hip. Both hands are going to make a fist. My right fist is going to be against my hip with my elbow back to my side. My left fist will be stacked on top of my right hand. So from the elbow, stack your hands to your hip. Remember, your head was facing this way. Now I'm going to start to look to the front. So throw a down block in front of my body here. My left hand will now pull to my hip, and my right hand is going to throw a hook punch. I'm going to turn my head to look to the right. Now I'm going in this direction. My right foot is going to step. My head is looking that direction, remember? And I'm going to do the crescent kick again. Land in my horse stance. My head comes back to the center. My right arm comes up. You can think of like a forearm block, perhaps, blocking up and out here. My left hand is at the hip. My right hand is going to punch forward. My left hand draws up next to my ear, You could think about maybe a back fist motion. We're not really trying to hit two people at once, but that's kind of the motion that you're bringing your arm, snapping up and back here. What I am going to do is I'm going to pull my right hand forward and a forward back fist with my left fist. My right hand is braced against the inside of my left elbow. So if you could imagine, maybe I'm grabbing and pulling someone in, boom, and smashing down like a hammer or a back fist that way. Okay, so that was up, out, smash. Now, my left foot is going to draw up to the inside of my right knee. This could be maybe to block a low kick or to dodge an attack to the foot, a foot sweep perhaps. I'm going to land back in my horse stance, and I'm twisting to the left. Your head's going to go as well. I'm just looking at you, remember? And I'm rotating my wrist as if I were doing a hammer blow in that direction. Now I'll do the same thing to the right. My hands don't move. My whole body's going to rotate. Okay, so this fist is rotating, but my hands stay in that same position. My hands come back to my right hip like we did before. So right hand at the hip, left hand on top. And I will double punch back to my left. I turn my head and I yell or key out here. Aye! This is the first half of the form. So I would suggest learn that, practice it, pause the video, rewind it. When you get that down and you're comfortable, the second half of the form repeats just on the opposite side. So it just starts over from the elbow, but now you're doing everything starting with the left hand and now moving back to the right. So it's not a very long form. It's not complicated necessarily, but to do it correctly and keep your position and your posture right and have good rotation and good stance, that's the challenge in this form. So I'm going to go through the first half again, and then I'll go through the second half nice and slow, going back the other way for you, and you'll have the whole form. Tekki 1. Remember, my left hand is in front. I press down, turn your head, step, crescent kick, landing in our horse stance. Grab, elbow, hands to the hip, down block, hook punch, turn your head to look. Step with your right foot, left crescent kick, land in your horse stance. Right hand comes up, and your head is back to the center. Right hand punches forward, left hand comes up to your ear, right hand pulls in, left hand smashes forward. Left foot draws in, rotating to the left. Right foot draws in, rotating to the right. Hands come to the right hip, double punch back to the left and key out. Aye! Now I'm going to grab with my left hand, draw my right elbow back, elbow, hands come to my hip, left hand to the hip, right hand on top this time, right down block, left hook. So it's the same exact pattern, I'm just traveling in the other direction. My hands are just reversed. Step left, crescent kick right. Left hand up. Left hand out, right hand comes up by the head. Left hand pulls in, right hand smashes forward. Draw the right foot in now because our right hand is up. Rotate. Left foot. Rotate. Hands to the left hip again. Double punch to the right. Aye! Back to your beginning position. Return to attention. And that's the end of the form. 2 quick notes. The horse stance with the low block here, or the dodge, the goal is to stay pretty parallel to the ground. Okay, what I want to do is try to stay in my stance. I have this good posture, good straight back. Not to go up, up, right? I kind of want to just quickly dodge and land back in my stance, so I'm ready to drop and rotate. The second thing is the double punch. Some styles do a U-shaped punch. Others do this double horizontal punch. We will practice both in class as you prepare for your black belt test. We'll teach you both. We'll show you how to use them both. And you get to choose which one you like better, which one you think works better for you. Okay? So this is Tekki 1. Make sure you did the first half before you try to go on to the second half. If you have any questions, let me know. I look forward to seeing you in class. Have fun. Good luck.